Greetings, comrades, and welcome to Works and Resources Soviet Republic. Great to be back in, great to be continuing the campaign. We got here last time, we managed to start our farming industry, and now we got an emergency services up and running, we got a fire station, and we got a lovely little hospital. Look at that. Got 2 little ambulances, and I got 4 fire engines. I have gone for the Polish variety of our fire engines, I believe, and the Czechoslovakian ambulances. They're the only vehicles on the road right now, but it really is nice just to see them coming alive and see the world come alive. So yeah, they chop down the paths, actually no issues whatsoever. You can travel right there, even if you don't have a road. You can see their speed as well. So here's our farming industry. It's actually looking pretty good, and we have a couple of tractors. We have a combine harvester and a open truck to carry the crops back to the farm. This farm can only contain 40 tons, so hopefully we can extend the storage. So we're going to start our next objective. We're going to continue with the worker side of things and hopefully start to get some more industries built. So we're going to start, obviously one would be food. You probably don't want to do clothing because you've got you know, you got to prioritize, and I think in this situation we want to prioritize food. We are importing things already, so we don't need to worry too much about clothes just yet. So let's go for food. A new character again, greeting comrades, or comrade. Stanislav Sergeyev, one of the driving forces behind the industrialization of food and alcohol manufacturing in our great Soviet Republic. I stand ready to guide you through the crucial missions of setting up our production of food and alcohol. Ensure a steady supply of sustenance and spirits for our citizens. Together we shall fortify our nation's prosperity and witness the fruit of one labour. Fueling the strength of the Soviet Republic. I hope so. I want a lot of booze in my republic. Actually no, I'm joking. I don't want a lot of booze. So we will need to focus on crops and food. The food factory stands at a pivotal site in the Soviet Republic where harvested crops are efficiently processed. Okay. Transforming raw produce into essential foodstuffs for our citizens. Now we get to see some of those production chains that I was talking about. This game is very much hands-on, all about the economic simulation and all about the production chain simulation as well. This sort of precise control over industry production and supply chains, but good, although limited choices for any type of industry you would want. You know, the coal mining, the clothing, the aggregates, exportation, alcohol, for example, and of course food, which will turn into food stuff. So let's go and see what there are. Okay, so this is it. The food factory takes 170 workers. We have 2,500. We're doing pretty well. Can store or consume 42 tons of crops, and our farm can only store 40 tons, so we may be running a little bit short if we're at max capacity. It doesn't produce much pollution, and it exports 25 tons of food. Brilliant. So if we look over here back at our supermarket, which is absolutely rammed still, people are absolutely packing into that thing, aren't they? Look at that. Looks good at night, and I did notice there's really cool lighting here on the buildings. They've done a good job. Not all the windows are lit up, but then again, not everybody is home, are they? Everyone's out on the street. The same over here. I prefer these. They're just a little bit lighter, a bit more colourful, a bit more brought to life. Although these ones are perfectly fine as well. I can't wait to get the high rises, and of course we've got the hospital and fire lights too. Yeah, so what I was saying is the food, so we've got 40 tons, and this can store 4.83, so we're going to produce about 25 tons, which means we're going to have a lot of excess food available. Let's do that, and I know from a little bit of watching some tutorials online, people may or may not know them, but there are some really good ones there. The obvious thing to do here, it says it stands as a harvested crops efficiently processed, but the obvious thing would be to connect the farm to the food factory. Now, I know from experience, and I think this is really important to mention this, but this is got to be a bug, because if you connect the farm to a factory, there is no transfer of crops from the farm to the factory at all. So that layout is not going to work. Even if you put a warehouse. A warehouse should be able to store crops, but it won't. It won't transfer anything into the warehouses, it won't transfer anything into the food factories. So in this situation, I would recommend going for a grain storage, put a storage in between the farm and then the factory, and that should resolve the issue. Now maybe somebody could tell me why, but why this doesn't work, because that should technically work. The factory should pull the crops from the farm because there's an automatic connection there, but it doesn't. So in this case we do need to have an extra connection, and I'm going to put it fairly in line with it so we can make room for some roads, and then there's a bit of room behind it too. That should work, and now we have extra storage there in the grain silo, the grain storage, and that goes up to 800 tons. Probably enough, I think. Our goal is about, it was like 10,000 people, so I think we're probably going to have enough just from that configuration there for about 10,000 people. But yes, the farm to food factory has something going on in it. There's no way to do it unless you use some kind of transportation, I believe. Looking good. Dystopic, the distillery is a vital facility in the Soviet Republic that efficiently converts surplus crops into alcohol. Valuable alcohol. Plays a crucial role in bolstering our economy. Yes, and the building looks fantastic. Again, you don't have those like modern graphics, but still looks good. I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? It's an indie game, guys. It's really well made for an indie game. There are a few bugs in here, but a lot of things are probably just because they're so difficult to understand. And going back to the export of alcohol, so on the left hand side we have more selections, and we also have an option up here called economy and trade. Now if you click that, you also have population statistics, a more in-depth analysis of the things up here. Obviously our healthcare is not great, it is, but we need it 100%. And then you go over here and you can see a more detailed breakdown of where it is and why it's at that level. Below that, the economy and trade is the same, and you can see what you're importing and exporting, producing and consuming, and current prices on the market. Now this is very important, because if we're going to export both food eventually and clothing, we need to know, and alcohol, we're going to need to know how much they are. So let's have a look at alcohol. 227 rubles 90. I'm assuming that's per ton, and not per kilo. So we'll assume it's per ton. And then if you go down to clothes, you've got 1200 there, so that's worth quite a lot. They're very valuable. And what was the last one? Alcohol, clothes, and possibly crops. So we only get 1658 if we have a surplus. So in that case, clothing and alcohol would make sense. There are some other options here, but we'll probably get to them later on in the game. Okay, so we want the transfer to go directly from the, ideally from the grain storage, but we've not got enough room unless we potentially make a bigger one. Perhaps we could do that. Let's try that. I'm going to put a nice big one there. And that should allow transfer crops to both factories at the same time. Just wait for it to clear the demolition site. There we go. So there we go. As you can see, that there is connected to both factories. And we probably want it right there. And then on this side of the silo storage, we can put the distillery. Notice the layout, guys. You've got to plan as well in advance. If you do want to put anything else in the area, you want to run a train through it. In our case, the train is probably going to go here, in this gap between the train and the road. So you don't have to worry, but if you want to put it somewhere near the factories, you do need to plan for it, of course. So there we go, let's turn that to that direction. Connect the distillery to the silo. Or the grain storage, not the silo, I keep calling it that. Road it up. Right round to there, I think. We have two roads running through as a little shortcut, just in case. Then again, that would defeat the purpose of this, but we want to plan for later on. Okay, we can expand the factory's internal storage by connecting a warehouse to its factory. Okay, so this is where things are a little bit off and don't actually work as expected. That's why I've pre-planned with the grain storage, as we can see there. Connecting a warehouse. It would like me to connect a warehouse, and that's what a warehouse is, but we really need the grain storage. So I think the tutorial on the campaign mode there probably could be clearer, because it doesn't work from the farm to this warehouse storage, which is what I said. And that would explain why we need to put this in the middle. Now that layout should technically work. If it doesn't, we can always adjust it, and then it'll have access to both the food factory and the alcohol distillery, or crop distillery, whatever you want to call it. Excellent work, comrade. With the food factory and distillery already set in place, the objective is clear: produce a set amount of food and alcohol to bolster our nation's prosperity and provide for our citizens. Your dedication to this task will undoubtedly contribute to the length and well-being of the Soviet Republic. Let's get to work and ensure our targets are met efficiently. Produce 30 tons of food and 20 tons of alcohol. Okay, so we have no workers, and I was saying earlier about a bus stop, so let's go ahead and do that, guys. There's no objective to do it, so we're just sort of, we're doing what you guys should do. You should really, you know, build a great Soviet Republic, but also at the same time don't stick to the campaign like it's scripture, because it isn't. You will have to do things like the decorations weren't part of it, and the bus stop won't be part of it either. But in our case, we're going to add one because we know we're going to need one. So just use your common sense. If you've played a game like this before, you'll know that transportation is one of the essential items. So we're going to do it right there. Let's connect it up. I'm going to add another one. As long as it connects to all the buildings, that's fine. So in this case, we may, or maybe we should go for a bigger one. Maybe we should get a bus platform, perhaps. A lot of choices here, though, for the bus stops. You get a free one as well. Small bus platform there. Something like that might be a bit better. There is a lot of choice, though, in the game. The question is, where do I put it so everybody can get access to it? Let's go for a different one. Bus station. Huge. Yes, I think I pre-planned this, but I think not really planned out for the bus stop, unfortunately, which is gonna probably gonna have to go somewhere like there, maybe, and hope that everybody can get access to it. Oh, hold on, we got a new guy coming up. Let's try there and connect a few paths just to increase the amount of people that can get to it. Okay, people already going to wait there. That's nice. City's really coming alive. And if we go on there, we can see that not everybody can actually get there, which is alright, because I'm going to add another bus stop, I think. Never have too many. Right there is absolutely perfect. Right between the two. The most efficient of bus stop layouts, but it's surely better than nothing. And can we connect a road? No, so maybe not, not the most efficient. But if we look at the connections, it actually does reach quite a few as well. Not all of them, but you know, enough to supply workers. This one's packed. Yeah, I like that one more, to be honest. It's a bit more city vibes, isn't it? This one's more rural vibes. Let's go ahead and get a bus. I think we have to click on the bus stations. Right. I think we need a road depot for the buses. So let's go ahead and build that. We're gonna need a road depot, I think, for other things too. So let's build a big one. We don't need to put it near it because the vehicles will drive, of course. Let's stick that there. And when that's built, we should be able to purchase a bus or two. First transportation line, guys, I recommend the bus. I actually recommend paying for them because you've got enough money to start. We are draining money like crazy, though. Jeez. Right, there it is. Nice little vehicle depot. Oh, well, yeah, so buses come up, and we're going to go for the classic Soviet Union style, although you still have that variety, like I say, the variety of vehicles, variety of buildings, Ukrainian, Czechoslovakian, Soviet Union, Poland, Latvian. I quite like the Latvian colour, though, nice little blue one. But it only got 8 passengers on it, and... Okay, so the different passenger capacities. Maybe should just go for the biggest one. The trailer bus I'm not too keen on. Soviet Union 60. Let's go for the 60 just because it's a good middle marker, and that way we can guarantee we fill the buses up. So let's go for 2 of those to start with. There they are. Oh, it's coming to life, it's coming to life, it's very good. Add one of those stops. Yes, and we want to bring them all the way down. Hold on there, food production guy. All the way down to this one. Click the small launch flag, and there we go. Let's see how it does. Tiny bit on the slow side, isn't it? Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely amazing, guys. So that's going to go over there and hopefully pick those up. Let's see what the next objective is. Our crops are looking really healthy. Look at that. 10 fields are just pure gold. Which will then be processed heavily into both alcohol and food. Our next objective is still there, but we keep getting a pop-up from somebody, so it may pop up again. That bus there has already loaded 28 workers and it has a capacity of some more space on it. And you can see exactly who's on it by clicking on it. We've got a list of load of people whose names I can't pronounce. Oborina Zilya Zanova, Pishchalnikova, Stella Stepanovna. Wow, I can do some of these names, guys. Trying to Oh man, don't even get me started on those. Wow. Right, so that'll go to the next one. We may have to copy the route, so click this copy schedule to another vehicle. That bus stop is packed. I'm gonna have to get another one out, or do what I did and get small ones and get a couple, or get a huge one and just get one or two as well. So 60 workers, that seems to be its capacity. In this case, we probably do need. We probably could do with another vehicle actually. So let's get one of the 80 packs from Czechoslovakia. Let's do the. I'll leave it there. We'll just see how we cope at the moment, but I will put it in, and then 20 to 30 tons of food and alcohol should be produced when the buses drop their packs off to the factories. Greetings, I am Borislav Fedorov, the Minister of Transportation of the Soviet Republic. As a seasoned logistics expert, I oversee the smooth movement of resources throughout our nation. If you find yourself short on crops of the food or factory or distillery, you have two options. You can purchase the necessary crops directly from the building themselves, or click on the building and use the icon in the top window. Or you can have them delivered. First, you build a road, or select a vehicle roads depot. Okay, so we're ahead of the campaign a little bit, and purchase a cover truck there by clicking on the icon at the top of the window. Then open the window at the vehicle several route from the building where the crops are located to the food factory or distillery. Right, remember well-planned transportation is necessary. So we jumped the gun a bit. I'm going to purchase some in advance. So we don't actually need some at the moment, but he said we need a cover truck. Okay, getting good choices. Poland, Czechoslovakia. They made a lot of vehicles Czechoslovakia, don't they? Okay, so speed is not an issue here. It's more about what they can carry. And this one's got the most amount of capacity. This one here looks nicer. I don't know why, it just looks a bit more Soviet Union. It can carry a little bit less, but probably the right capacity for our supermarkets. Let's get two of those. Building up a real collection of super road vehicles, aren't we? And obviously when they collect the crops, we're going to be able to go store 3,200 tons of crops. And then we can store some in there, 72 tons. And we can store 64 in there as well. Right, so we do in fact need crops to make it function. The question is, how do we import it from here? Because we've got none available at the moment. So we want to get production started. Maybe purchase resources. Oh, okay, we can purchase some. So let's purchase a few crops in the factories. That way, at least production will get started, and there are workers available. And then when we get our crops coming into our silo, grain storage, we will stop importing them. At the moment though, the buses are doing pretty well. They're carrying 60 packs each, so they're pretty efficient. I'd say they're at maximum capacity. Same with this one now, and we still have 120 people waiting. Food and culture, but his satisfaction is 100%, so he's, or she is, yeah, she, Romanova. She's satisfied 100%, which is great. Not really many people using the tennis courts though. Suppose it's a matter of time. Look at all those happy workers, guys. Yeah, it's a matter of time before our glorious republic starts to get big money, because we're draining money like crazy. The leader is not going to be happy, whoever loaned us that, presumably Khrushchev or whoever it was that dealt with the money side of things. There they go, producing alcohol, and actually we probably could do an alcohol storage as well. So let's go on here, let's try a warehouse, maybe a small warehouse. and that way we can store both food and alcohol in them. So again guys, that planning aspect, yes, that's perfect. So now the alcohol and food, when they're produced, they'll be able to store here. They have about 15 tons of alcohol and 25 tons of food respectively to store in the factories, and then from that point on it will probably overflow into the warehouse, and then the warehouse, if there's any there, we can export them or just transfer them to the shops. This is what I'm guessing. It's such an in-depth thing, guys. You really have to take your time to get to learn it. But that's it, that's the thing I love as well, the realism with every kind of step of the process. So every process requires some kind of input rather than it happening automatically. It's not even realism mode, and I feel like I'm engaged more than I would be in something like Tropico or City Skylines, where everything is automatic. You know, the majority of things are automatic if you've got the Teamsters, and it does defeat a bit of the fun. So this really is great. And also the length of time it takes, because it's not fast. It's real. I say this real-time strategy, even though there's no battles or soldiers. It certainly feels real-time strategy with the economy, and it's akin to like professional meditation. Like if you meditate for a few hours, or you know, imagine a Buddhist who's meditating in a mountain. They could easily play this game. You've got to have patience, I think. That's the key in this. Anyway, the workers are filling up the factories. I will see you, I guess, when the factories are done producing all the stuff. Glorious city, rise above the rest. What a journey, guys. Just sit. It does take a while, but just watching the Republic go by. We now have our farms like harvesting the crops. We only have one combine, but I think logically the tractors should be able to harvest them as well, because they should be able to attach a combine harvester onto them or something like that, rather than having a dedicated. I think that's what can happen anyway. I've seen farmers attach the harvesters onto them anyway. So, and one truck, the buses are running at full capacity. There goes our crop collection lorry. Probably going to go to an empty farm, I'm guessing, or maybe a full one. He has a capacity of about 10 tons of crops. It's a really pleasant experience. It's really relaxing, and not what I expected at all. I expected it to be really not enjoyable, but this is a win in my book. I think the guys have done a great job. I believe they're Slovakian developers. I don't want to offend anyone, but I think they're from Slovakia, and you can tell as well because, believe it or not, Kozice, the place I did a flight from the other day, was actually on one of the pictures on the loading screen. So yeah. A lot of Slovakian pictures, which tells me they're from there. Okay, Stanislav Sergeyev, mission accomplished, comrade. Your hard work is paid off, and the specified quotas for food and alcohol have been met. Several Republic citizens have been well fed and have access to essential spirits. Not quite yet, because we haven't transferred them from the factories to the supermarket, so we'll assume he's jumping the gun a bit. But he does look pretty cool with his food industry clothing on. Pretty brutal, actually. Dedication to further our nation's growth and prosperity. Keep it up for a brighter future ahead. Excellent work, comrade. And now we must destroy the waste. Yes, very good. So we are producing a heck of a lot of alcohol, a lot of food, and the warehouse is also being filled up. So that, it turns out, factories don't have to be filled on their storage to fill the warehouses up. That's brilliant. And we also have a couple of trucks here on standby, ready to take them where they're needed. This is storing some, and it's indeed being transferred from the farm to the grain storage, as I predicted. So yeah, the operation is running extremely efficiently. I'd say that's a win for the first few industries. The next mission though will be clothing industry. It's going to be interesting to see how we're going to produce them. We probably need more materials other than crops. So yeah guys, if you're liking the look of my republic, by the way, it's welcome to Grantugoslakia. Grantugoslakia. It's quite a strange place. Grantugoslakia. Yes, it sounds like a combination of Rakia and Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia. All the words mixed in one. So yeah, if you're enjoying it and you want to see what happens next, then stick around because there'll be more episodes, and I'm super enjoying the campaign. I can't wait to grow my city. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.